Okay, fourth graders, welcome back. I hope you guys all had a really relaxing and fun spring break couple of weeks. We are going to get started on a project that I love doing with my fourth grade kiddos. You guys, I learned about the Aztecs when I was your age. Back when we had Spanish as one of our specials that we went to, and our Spanish teacher taught us about the Aztecs, so I've always been really interested in them, and now I'm going to teach you guys about the Aztecs today. I attached a PDF of the slides that I go through each year about the Aztecs. I want you guys to look through that. I'm going to explain a couple different things in the slides to you, and then what I want you to do is get out some drawing materials. It can be any kind of drawing materials, and I want you to draw a picture of one or more, if you're interested in it, one or more aspect of Aztec culture. Take a picture of it. Then you've got two options. You can either send it to me in an email. A lot of people are finding that to be the easiest, and that's totally fine. Or attach it to the assignment in Google Classroom under where like the private comments would be. Either one of those is fine, and then I'll get you guys checked off and marked as completed for this day of art e-learning, okay? So if you're looking at the slides, the first one just says Aztec cactus, but the second one says, who are the Aztecs? So they actually started off as a small tribe, and they were interested in expanding. So they would fight wars with other small tribes that were nearby them and like conquer them, and then keep growing and growing and growing until they were actually taking over most of what is now Mexico, and had built this Aztec empire. So they were located in central Mexico from the year 1300 to 1521. So that's about 200 years that they conquered this area. And then they were ruled until the Spanish sailed over from Spain and came and conquered the area from them. They're known for building these very large cities, and their capital city is known as Tenochtitlan. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I've never actually known if I've been saying that right. The next slide is a map. So this is kind of like where the Aztecs conquered. So you can see down towards the bottom, it says Aztec Empire, and then it has marked that capital city right above. So kind of this middle part of Mexico was where they had taken over. So the capital city, there is a legend that goes along with the founding of this capital city, which is the next slide. Legend says that the capital was founded on a place where a cactus grew out of a rock, and an eagle was sitting on the rock holding a snake in its mouth. So the legend says that they did find this rock with a cactus growing out of it and had an eagle sitting on it with a snake in its mouth. And it was the middle of an island, actually inside of a lake. So they built their capital city there. They built walls surrounding the city. They built large palaces, pyramids, and temples inside the city. And it became really the center for this really powerful empire. And now it's actually where Mexico City is in modern day today. Next slide says war was important to the Aztecs. So they expanded their empire through fighting all of these different wars. And it was like known as like being a really good warrior. You were like kind of like the top guy, like you were really well respected, and the best way to gain power within this empire was to show that you were a good warrior. So those were like the powerful people were the warriors. They worshipped the sun god on the next slide. He's actually the sun god was the center of their calendar, so their calendars don't look like ours with the boxes. It's like a circle, and so the sun god is in the middle of the calendar. And then they actually built special temples to worship the sun god, and they have a very special temple to worship the sun god in the capital city. Next slide says hunting and fishing. So these were both very important activities. People used hunting and fishing as a way to get food. People in Mexico, when they're fishing, actually still use some nets that are very similar to the ones that the Aztecs used for fishing. They hunted with bows and arrows, and this was a very important food source. Next slide says, what else did they eat? So they ate corn, or it was called maize, vegetables, beans, and squash, along with the meat and the fish that they hunted. They had large markets. They were really big, and this is where all the buying and selling was done. They didn't have like really stores or anything. It was more like a big area where everyone was just selling all of their goods to each other. They were excellent craftsmen. They carved out of stone, very good at carving objects and figures. They also carved on stone on the side of like buildings, like decoration that kind of went along with their culture and their beliefs. And then the Aztec calendar was traditionally carved out of stone, which is very different from our paper calendars. They did play sports. They made up a ball game that became very popular, and they had like stadiums where people could go and watch these athletes play sports. The court symbolized the world. The ball symbolized the sun and the moon, and then they tried to get it through this hoop. And the players didn't use like their hands or feet like in most sports that we have now. They used their hip to like hit the ball and through the little small hoop. They did use cactus plants for a lot, which is why I've created this Aztec cactus project. They used them to build fences. So they'd plant cactuses in rows around an area to build a fence. There's a type of cactus that they used to make paper, or to make roofs or cloth or rope or needles. And then they used the juice from the prickly pear cactus. That was used to treat burns, or drank the juice to treat a disease. There's actually 420 different types of cacti. The cactus plant is still very important in Mexican culture and can be seen on the Mexican flag. And then the last couple of slides here, I found some pictures of like Aztec temples that are still able to go visit today, and they look pretty cool. Okay, so then the slide that says, what does your Aztec cactus need? I don't want you to worry about that one right now. And then the next one says, turn and talk. You don't need to worry about that one right now either. So the what does your Aztec cactus need? Don't worry about that. You don't have to draw a cactus right now. You can draw any part of the Aztec culture that you want. It could be the sun god. It could be the sport game that they play. It could be the temples. Whatever you want to draw from these slides right now. And you could look at, I have some pictures in there that could maybe help you decide what you want to draw. And then again, once that's done, picture, send it to me either in the Google Classroom or in an email. Okay? All right, have fun, you guys.